Hey, welcome back. It's hour 2 of Liquid Lunch. We're coming to you today as we do every day, Monday to Friday, live from noon to 2 Eastern from the Newsmax headquarters high atop Midtown Manhattan. We're in the Question Tequila Studios, and we are fortified with plenty of tequila. Downtown at the New York Stock Exchange, we are in the green, and thankfully today, there's been so much volatility here towards the end of the summer. The markets tend to trade thin. All of the liberal hedge fund managers are out in the Hamptons, so they got their computers on autopilot. So stay calm. Don't do anything crazy with your portfolio, and take a look at it next week. Enjoy a nice long weekend. But when we're talking about how well the economy is doing, we bring in a well-known conservative commentator. Grant Stinchfield joins us today, and he's joining us via Skype. Hey, we need to have you in here one of these days for a Liquid Lunch, Grant, but thanks for joining us.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd love it. It would be coming home. You know, I grew up not far from where you guys are there, and I'm still waiting for my bottle of tequila. I thought when you're a guest first time on the show, you get that sent down here to Dallas.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you some Question down there. This time you're on. Next time you're on, we put it on the table in front of you too. So we're always doing product placement for our sponsors. But Grant, the market seems to be doing okay today after a tumultuous couple of weeks. But all the left is trying to talk us into a recession. Are we heading to a recession?
No, we're not, unless the media continues to force us there. You know, John, it absolutely upsets me that you've got those in the mainstream media who are so obsessed with taking Donald Trump out of office in 2020 that they are willing to push this bogus narrative that somehow the country is slipping into a recession. And they'll do it at the expense of not just Donald Trump's candidacy, but all of us out there who've got 401ks, we've got holdings, we've got stock investments, whatever it may be. They don't care about us. And so they'll push this thing. And I noticed this over the last 3 weeks or so. I kept hearing over and over and over again, recession, 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 recession. I own a trucking company down here. I haul freight. We're busier than we've ever been. Dallas, Texas is booming. The unemployment rate down here is as low as it's ever been, just as it is across the country. So I'm not seeing any signs of this economy slowing down unless you go up there, you know, your neighbors, 30 Rockefeller Plaza and the other media outlets in New York City. They'll do whatever it takes to sink this nation.
So we're going, in my view, I spent 25 years on Wall Street. I only recently started being on television, but I see, and Grant, my background's in short selling, so I always see the evil dark side of good things. And I see all the macros are great. Jobs are up, GDP is up. The growth slowed a little bit in the last couple quarters, but unemployment is amazing. African-American unemployment is the lowest in history. And the fact that the left wants to keep telling us that it's bad is scary. It's almost like they want it to be bad.
So here's the problem, as you know, when you control the information flow, it gives you a tremendous amount of power. And people are emotional beings. So when they keep hearing this over and over again, getting hit over the head with it, that's why I believe the market went down 500 points that you saw a few days ago, because of this idea that the mainstream media, this fake idea, was pushing. People are emotional. So they're going to unload their stock holdings. I unloaded some of mine 2 days before the market dropped 500 points. I'm embarrassed to say it that I didn't stand firm, but I saw it coming. How are people not going to sell this off when they keep hearing it over and over again? But to me, I think maybe the time's to jump back in again and ride it back up a little bit.
Yeah, I like to play some of these old clips of like Peter Lynch and Sir John Templeton. Sometimes we do Money Mondays, and all the greatest investors of all times talk about contrarianism. When everyone's selling buy, when everyone's buying sell. I think we're both on the same page on that. But I want to move to these Democratic candidates and all these different health care proposals. And Midge is filling in for Frank today. She had a question on health care.
Yeah, so all candidates have a health care plan, but Joe Biden recently was not able to explain his. So we're going to take a look at a video real quick.
If you're not satisfied, you have another option, high quality options. The public option will be available in my plan. We'll make sure it's not quality. We'll make sure it's only affordable. Quality is affordable.
What do you think, Grant? We're going to make sure it's not quality. It's just going to be affordable.
Yeah, obviously it was a stumble on his behalf, but we know that it's actually true, right? It's not going to be equality. They call it a public option. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time the government has done anything good? You could point to the military. We're the finest military in the world. But certainly the military even has its share of waste, fraud, and abuse. Just look at everything going on there. And so the public option is not going to work. Joe Biden, in some respects, I feel sorry for him. He's been stumbling. I don't know when it's not just a gaffe anymore, that there's a serious problem with Joe Biden. I think his health is suffering. But what do the Democrats think they're going to get, John? When you put up people, all of them pushing their 80s to try to take you up against Donald Trump, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy like Joe Biden with senior moment after senior moment, with no disrespect to all my senior friends.
No, listen, we all love our seniors. They were the backbone of this country. They were the blue-collar immigrants, legal immigrants who built this country, and we need to take care of them into their old age because they took care of us. But every day, one day Joe Biden says, we're not interested in truth. We're interested in facts. Another day he says he's in New Hampshire, but he says, oh, God, I love it here in Vermont. And now he's talking about affordable. It's not going to be equality, but it's going to be affordable. I think they're getting closer and closer. And the party of inclusion, they were so happy about more women. We had the first Muslim women, and all these great things were happening. And the top three contenders are all 70-year-old white people. But one of the young ones in the race is Beto, a guy who's not even Spanish. His name is Robert, but he goes by a pronunciation that makes it sound like he's Spanish. But here's what he had to say recently about abortion.
This is a decision that neither you, nor I, nor the United States government should be making. That's a decision for the woman to make.
There's no doubt. We talk to purple people on our show all the time, people who are socially liberal, fiscally conservative. There's no doubt, in my view, that women should have a right to choose certain things about their own body, of course, but where does it end? And now Beto's talking about 9 months. That's crazy.
So, John, you and I could have a discussion about this, right? Like, I believe life begins at conception. You may believe in a woman's right to choose. We can back down our belief of where life begins in the woman's body, and we could talk about science, and we could debate that like normal human beings. When Beto O'Rourke comes out and says that a human life has no value one day before the child is born, taken to term. This is what a gentleman asked Beto O'Rourke. Hey, I was born on January 8th. Are you telling me on January 7th my life had no value? And he says, well, I'm not saying that. You see, the Democrats are so married to this position of a women's right to choose that they're willing to throw all common sense out the window. And this is how far apart Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, and socialist liberals are. If we can't agree that a baby in the mother's womb brought to one day before full term is a life, if we can't agree on that, how in the world are we going to agree on anything? Because to me, it's simple common sense. That baby comes out of the womb one day later and the mother decides to smother it with a pillow. That is clearly murder. But you're telling me 4 hours earlier, if it was still in her belly, it's not? But Beto O'Rourke and the rest of them are going down with these wild, crazy, radical ideas when it comes to a woman's right to choose.
Hey, Midge, you're a woman. You have conservative views, but we see the squad and the Democrats and everybody talking about, hey, let's give illegal immigrants rights. Let's give them driver's licenses. Let's let them vote. If they get arrested, let's release them. Let's give them free college. So we have illegal immigrants coming to this country, and the Democrats want to give them all the rights they deserve, but at the same time, they want to give no rights to almost a term U.S. citizen. Yeah. How scary is that?
The unborn. I mean, where are the rights for the unborn is what I would ask. But, you know, and again, we could go back and forth about this debate, but I think it's so insane that there were virtually no Democrats who supported late-term abortion just a few years ago. And now the party is so married to this idea, and they've completely rewritten the language around abortion, where it's not just abortion is a woman's right to choose. Now it's abortion is health care. This is the new talking point that they're selling people, that this is actually health care. So they don't recognize anymore that this is a human life that is within a woman, but it is still a separate human life. And yeah, these Democrats, they choose illegals and people that can vote over the well-being of Americans.
Hey, thank you, Midge. And Grant, our last couple minutes here. First, the president said that I had a talk with LaPierre, and now he may be going back to the drawing board on gun rights. What do you think?
So automatic weapons are already highly regulated. You may be probably talking about semi-automatic firearms like the AR-15 style rifle. And as far as background checks go, look, the bottom line is this, and I've been around the gun industry for many, many years. And the one common theme in all of these mass shootings and most murders across America is a background check would never have stopped one of them and passed the background check. So all this is Democratic talking points aimed at eroding the Second Amendment, making harder for people like you and me and everyone else around this country who wants their right to keep and bear arms to get a firearm. It's about destroying the Second. And once you destroy the Second, then you got a clear path at the Constitution and ultimately socialism, which is what they want, John.
Wow. Grant Stinchfield, thank you so much for joining us via Skype. We need to have you in person for a liquid lunch, but your thoughts, your views, your observations are always welcome here. I want to thank you for an insightful conversation, and I want to thank you, our audience, for staying right where you are, because things are going to get even crazier on this Woman Wednesday when Jessie Dubai joins us, a female trans performer here in New York, to talk about her one-woman show, The Monologues of a Whore. Coming back right after this.